Okay, back. And we are here with Beatrice Snider, the law offices of Beatrice Snider. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
So
Glad to be here.
great. So tell us a little bit about your practice. What is it that you focus on for the most part?
Well, we are a family law firm exclusively, and our firm subspecializes in business valuation in divorces.
Okay.
We have the second largest family law firm in California. We have seven certified specialists, which I'm not sure if you're aware, but lawyers are also certified similarly to doctors, where you go on with another bar exam. You have to have a certain amount of experience
What
in
are
that
some of the
field.
things they get certified in?
Probate, criminal, tax, family law. Family law started in 1980, one of the first four, and I was the first class. There was 12 of us in San Diego, and that's 1980. I've been practicing for 40 years now.
Wow.
I'll get it right.
Yeah. So, let's hope so.
Right?
Let's do that. So
We will get it right.
Yeah.
interesting. So what's involved with doing a business valuation? I'm sure that's a big part of divorce these days.
Well, business valuation, as as Steve knows, sorry, Al knows.
Alfonso Vicente Jose Arias de Hernandez.
Oh, I don't have
You
that
can call
long a
me
name.
Al.
And
Okay,
if you
Al.
can repeat all that, you are a better man than me. Okay.
That's beautiful.
And make it sound as gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ann Beatrice Larsson's that's
Yeah.
Swedish.
Ah.
Anyway, your question was business valuation.
right.
What's different about it?
Yeah.
Well, business valuation in as opposed to fair market business valuation in divorce has a different methodology, which Al knows about in terms of valuing businesses. You might have a different methodology when you're going through probate and somebody dies and you have to figure out how much it's worth. When you're going to sell a business that you've succeeded at, it's a fair market value. In family law, it's called a marital value, and it's not gauged. There's statutes and cases that change your methodology as to how you can value it. You can't project into the future the way you do with family law. That's just one aspect of family of divorces in family law that have businesses in them.
Right. So would you do some of the forensic accounting or forensic work on a business as well, or is that a completely different specialty?
No, that's an element of it, because
Okay.
in order to know what in order to follow the methodology, you have to understand for the intangible value. Most businesses are valued based on intangible plus the tangible value. The intangible value, you have to determine what is the real income.
Right.
And with all of Al's entities that we're talking about, there may need to be a forensic analysis, but we obviously are not CPAs.
Right.
We hire CPAs, and hopefully we hire, quote, neutral CPAs, so that the process doesn't become as expensive as it used to be. Before,
Right.
we had a committee in San Diego that established a method by which businesses could be valued through a divorce action, as opposed to picking an advocate as an appraiser, forensic accountant, and then the other spouse picking another one, and they all have their methods and their proclivities on capitalization rates and reasonable compensation, which all goes into the valuation. And then you come to the judge, and the judge doesn't like either one, and he wants what's called a special master. So most lawyers in San Diego who are sophisticated in this area try to get together and pick one joint appraiser. And then you can always challenge that one with your own forensic accountants or some whatever. But we don't do the forensic accountant work, but there definitely is normally forensic accountant work in business valuation and divorce.
So
Right.
you're actually kind of sharing an expert witness in a sense?
Absolutely.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it cuts the fees. I mean, fees in a divorce action are very, very high no matter what you do. But on the business valuation, if somebody starts and goes out and takes some cash and throws some cash at an appraiser, most likely that's going to be an advocate as opposed to a neutral expert. And the judges really do want to get to a neutral position rather than one of the advocates. So yes, it's a neutral first, and then our process is you can have your own reviewing appraiser.
Well, most people think of
That's
divorce.
what your appraisers do, review
That's what I always recommend.
the neutral guy.
that somebody looks at the neutral guy. You can't just take whatever the neutral guy comes up with without question. So when he does his work, does a draft report, and then the spouses who wish to have a reviewing appraiser, you bring in the reviewing appraiser, say, okay, what do you think about that cap rate? What do you think about the reasonable compensation? What do you think about this? Should this be tax affected? Should that be, those kinds of issues, so that the lawyer cannot be the appraiser. We are just kind of the quarterback, okay? And behind us, you have these other experts. And you, the lawyer, has to make sure that they understand. The lawyer has to understand what parameters, what are the highlights of that appraisal, so that they can at least pinpoint what might be wrong.
Right.
Well, can I ask a simple question? What's the purpose of the valuation? If you've got two people that are married and own a business together, are you splitting up the value of it? Is one person retaining ownership of it?
The wife takes the house.
Yeah.
No, it's not these days. Women are pretty good in business.
Well, yeah, and the
But
small business.
that was
is
the
what-
play.
Yeah,
Right.
but usually in any
One spouse takes
household,
the house,
one
and then the other
spouse
takes
is
the
the business
business.
and the breadwinner, and the other spouse is maybe helping, but it's not always to get tied in. So,
It's changing tremendously how
Yeah.
many women are business owners.
Yeah.
right. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KFSD AM 1450 and financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-hosts, Andrea Kay and Al Arias, and our esteemed guest, Beatrice Snider. So, Beatrice, before we go too far, tell our listeners how they can get a hold of you if they want to talk to you about some of their concerns.
858-566-6650.
And I know many attorneys, especially in family law, specialize in a geographic area. They'll stay downtown or East County or what have you. How do you work? Do you work throughout the whole county?
Well, we have 28 staff and 10 lawyers. So we located in the Scripps Ranch area, right along Miramar Road, back in 75. Okay, Southern California report at that time said, okay, the population is going to be north of 8 and split halfway. So I located there. But we go to all of the courthouses because it's so centrally located. There are 4 courthouses that we go to all over the county.
Good.
I mean, that's a big family law firm.
That's it, yes.
You're like the second largest in the state of California, aren't you?
Yes.
Wow. You know, a lot of people think
It's a
that-
boutique area of the law, but it's
know,
very important.
And I know that we're here at the holiday times. It can be, kind of like this is the time of goodwill and hope and joy. And I know that, we don't want to get too maudlin, but I think you really, provide hope for people at the other end. And I know before you came on the show, you had said to me that maybe this isn't the best time to start, maybe the process. What do you want to say to people during the holidays? Right.
Well, first, anytime you're having difficulty, please go to a psychologist, see if it's really irreconcilably broken, because the process is expensive, and there's no way you can come out financially whole after a divorce. You're going to lose part of your children no matter what you do. You're going to lose half of your money in terms of property division, and you're going to have to be dealing with child and spousal support. So if the marriage can be saved, do it now. And the holidays bring up a lot of pain. Everybody expects it to be pleasure, and I think all of us know that no. It is the time when all of family or origin issues come up, and it becomes very, very
And it's
stressful.
expensive.
Very expensive. And so, number one cause of divorce is financial stress or financial conflict. So, here we are in this program talking about small businesses or businesses. If the marriage is on the rocks, it is very important to go get advice as to whether or not there should be a filing for dissolution or legal separation, because dates of value in a divorce valuation is very important, because if it's solely owned and operated, the valuation date may be the date of separation. So if you've got a business that is going up, and up, you may want to get some advice to determine. But first, make sure that the marriage is really irreconcilably broken.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I notice in the financial planning arena is when you have a marriage and there's a business involved, the business is usually the dominant part of the assets.
Absolutely.
So getting an adequate valuation and working that in the right capacity is really important.
It's crucial.
The type of problem that comes up in my practice is that people become divorced, and one of the divorcees becomes very successful, then the other party wants to go after the successful party to get more.
Retroactively?
Oh yeah.
You're talking about after the divorce?
Yeah. I mean, my understanding is if you were married 10 years or more, then you get another bite and a bite after that and a bite after that. All you need is money.
You're referring to the duration of spousal support.
Yes.
And there is a law in California that says that if your marriage lasts 10 years or more, then your ability to request spousal support goes on till you die, the payor dies, you remarry, or you might cohabit with a person of the opposite sex, which is one of the things that's trying to change right now in the statute. But otherwise, you have the right to ask, unless you make it non-modifiable in the settlement. But yeah, you're right. Duration can go on until one of those circumstances I just mentioned happens.
So that's very troublesome to people in business. Your business goes up and down, and when it goes up,
child
okay,
support,
here
Al.
you come.
Yeah.
You know?
Al, child support is likely to do that because
My clients are all.
well, then spousal support normally is limited to the marital lifestyle. So if somebody wasn't making a lot of money during the marriage, it's unlikely that they're going to be able to get an increase after, if that increase in income has happened after, because spousal support is normally limited by the marital lifestyle.
Yeah. So, Beatrice, we're about ready to go to a break. So, one more time, tell our listeners how they can get a hold of you if they have any questions.
It's Beatrice L. Snider, and it's 858-566-6650.
Great. Well, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for putting on such a great show. It's important. Business is fundamental.
Yeah. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business, where we get up close and personal with homegrown San Diego businesses and the people that are working to make a difference in our community. This is financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler. We'll be right back after the break with more homegrown business Close Up and New York Mike from San Diego Harley-Davidson.